If my 7 years of acting have taught me anything about character work, it's that it's not about how much screen time you have, but what you do with it. And I feel that this version of Exia personifies that sentiment excellently. Hey guys, it's 101R Smith, back again with another review, this time of the Master Grade Gundam Exia Repair 2. This kit is what I consider to be the holy grail of kits for me. This was one of the first kits that I ever wanted when I got into this hobby 4 years ago, and it's taken me so much time to find it and buy it, because unfortunately, if you can tell by the monochrome box art, this is P-Bandai. This was my first experience with P-Bandai, realizing that these kits don't just pop up everywhere and they cost a lot more than your traditional average Master Grade. It took me 4 years to find it, save up money for it, and even have the money disposable for me to even get this kit. So I wanted this version of Exia. Yes, it only appears for 5 minutes in the very last episode of Gundam 00, but the 00 Riser is my second favorite Gundam, and I love the GN Sword 3. Exia is definitely in the top 20 for me, and the fact that it has a modified GN blade with the GN Sword Kai, I couldn't pass this up. Plus, I just love that iconic final scene of Ribbons and the O Gundam fighting Setsune and the Exia. It's a perfect way to cap off the season of 00, and just, it was one of my favorite seasons of Gundam when I was a teenager, and I just could not pass this up. So it took me 4 years and I finally got it. And plus I couldn't say no because I have been looking everywhere for years on YouTube to find a review. And lo and behold, when you type up MG Exia Repair 2, there's only 3 videos and only one of them honestly constitutes as a full review. So I figured, hey, why not? This seems like untapped territory. So let me go into it and see what happens. So here we are. We are going to open this thing up and see what we have here. Opening up the box, and I was surprised to be greeted by the fact that nothing was removed in the original Exia release. In fact, you're just given 2 brand new plates in N1 and N2. Otherwise, all of the original plates from the original release of Exia are present in this box. All of the runners, all of the inner frame, and all of the GN cables. One minor question mark that I have about this kit is, in the foil sticker sheet, you were given the foil stickers for the ignition mode of Exia, despite the fact that no parts of Exia Repair 1 are present in this kit. That is actually a very puzzling question mark. Though it is disappointing to see that even though they gave you some parts from ignition mode, they give you the gray parts for the GN swords instead of the chrome. It would have been nice to have chrome, but otherwise, it's something that you can't live without. And plus, since this is a P-Bandai kit, you get water slide decals. So that is a major bonus for those who use them. All built up, and now we have Master Grade Exia Repair 2. If you were thinking there would be a radical difference between the 2 Exias, and you are sadly mistaken, my friend. There are subtle differences here, including new shoulder pads, skirt armor, back skirt armor, thigh, and back thigh. There are small little plastic pieces that act as thrusters, and that's about it. Structurally, this is the same Exia, though in my opinion, it to be the sleeker of the 2 versions. It looks more clean cut, and you don't have all the GN cables hanging on. I honestly find this to be the better looking of the Exia, but again, it's a subtle difference in Exia, a great looking kit. And by the way, this is very anime accurate in terms. Though let's see how it is to see if there are any improvements. Always, we're gonna start with poseability in the head. It can go up and down and a little bit side to side. And so long as you get the antennas out of the way, it can go 360. Absolutely no problem. Though be mindful of the chin. You don't want to break it by accident. The shoulder can go high up and the arm is on itself, and both the arm and shoulder can go 360 degrees with no problem. You're going to get some movement on the side of the armor, and both of the breastplates can move out. You're going to get a swivel halfway down the arm, and you're going to get a double jointed elbow bend. But the wrist is 3-1 and the thumb, and you're going to get a swivel inside of the wrist as well. You're going to get some beautiful side movements going forward in the waist and up and down. With the legs, you're going to get a very beautiful double jointed knee that is broken up into 2 sections. Finally, with the toes, you're going to get a toe, and the foot can move up and down. Very shaky and a lot of movement. Overall, I'll say the poseability is good. Just like any other Exia, it's going to come with accessories. While the configuration of Exia might be different, majority of the weapons are all the same. It might not be able to be called the 7 Swords Gundam, but it still packs a punch. First off, you're going to get 2 beam sabers. You're going to get the long beam effects and the short beam effects. So like I said before, nothing in the original Exia was taken, so you get up to 4 beam saber hilts. However, since you get brand new shoulders and they act as boosters, you're not going to be able to hold the back of the beam sabers and the sides. However, you can still use them. What's done here is that the sides of the waist are now used to lock in the beam saber hilts instead of the GN swords. You're going to plug them into the waist and then push them to the side. So while they still give you the short and long blades, you have no other place to store them. Speaking of which, they both still look very well. I had wished they would have used the ignition mode version with the chrome pieces, but they decided to give you the normal release, which comes with a grayish silver. While not as shiny as the chrome, it leaves less numb marks, and overall it still looks good to have with Exia on its side, even though you can't place them on the sides anymore. The biggest change with Exia comes with the GN Sword Kai. It's a longer and different variant of the GN Sword 3 given to 00 Riser, and they gave it to Exia, which I think looks amazing. Just like the original GN Sword, you get the rifle mode on tact, and it works pretty much the same way. You plug it into the inside of the forearm, and you use the tabs to hold the gun. It could be a little shaky at times, but if you have patience, it'll work. Just like the original GN Sword, you can hold it up in sword mode, and you're going to get a pretty good extension out. I mean, I really had to back out in order to take the shot here, but it's a wide extension, almost akin to 00 Riser. And just for kicks, they also gave you the GN Shield. No alterations or changes in between the two. It just works, and it works. It's a nice addition to have. They could have taken away, but they decided not to. Now that I finally have this Exia in my possession, was it worth the 4-year chase, patience, and wait to finally have this in my collection? Yes! I'm glad that I have Exia Repair too. Now, if you're wondering if this is a grand improvement over the original Exia, no. This is really a variant, and I honestly believe that it deserves the P-Bandai label as much as we all crone and bitch about it. Very few runners. You get 2 brand new runners. While poseability-wise, it's a slight improvement over the original Exia. It still has a lot of the same ankle problems. While the new thigh pieces do hold the polycap in better, the ankles themselves are still too weak. They are just going to make the kit fall. And just to get some of the more better shots in this review, it took a lot of patience, and it didn't always pan out for me. So if you really want the Exia Repair 2, what you can do is buy the Dark Matter Exia, heavily repainted, and you will have it. I personally believe you don't need to go hunt the P-Bandai version. It's $70 for me. If you really want it, go for Dark Matter Exia, repaint it. You'll save yourself $20. I'm happy to have this in my collection, but I wouldn't say this is a must-need situation for any Gundam. This is 101 R Smith. I will see you later. Peace.